Probably won't do much good to ask me to look at it at 5:45 on the 29th of April. But anytime before that, okay. Tonight is our last chapter, by the way. This is chapter 11. And my wife asked me if I was going to tell you this. I said, no, I think I will. But I didn't because I don't want to drop my guard and get emotional and stuff like that. But this is the last class. This is the last class I will ever teach. I'm finishing 30 years at NMU this semester. And I've had probably between 2,000 and 3,000 students. And it has been my great joy to be able to work with students. And it's a little odd to be finishing up by looking at everybody on a television screen or a computer monitor as it is. But that's progress. And I'm kind of not surprised. But it does not allow us to build the relationships that I've had with students in the past. But that's okay, because you're welcome to contact me in the future and talk about stuff, and I hope you do. But I can tell you that every single year, every single semester, at the beginning of the semester, I tell the students that in this class, there are students who are as good as students at any university in the country. And it's never failed. And I know that there are students in this class who meet that measurement too. So good job. But it actually makes my job easier, because when I first started a long time ago, when I was a doctoral student at Kent State University, I remember going in to the department head, whose name was Jacobus T. Severance. And he didn't teach finance, he taught finance. And I went in and asked him, I said, so I've never taught a class before. How do we do grading scale? I mean, how do we, he said, oh, it's really quite simple. In American education, we use the bell curve. I went, okay. He said, well, that means 5% of your students get A's, 5% get F's, 10% get B's, 10% get D's, and the rest of them get C's. And that's the way you grade it. And I walked out of there going, that doesn't make any sense to me. Well, what happens if the students and I all do a really good job? Everybody learns and scores well and does the work. Why shouldn't everybody get an A or B or a good grade? And that's what I started with. So I learned the first semester that there were people in the class who are actually smarter than me. And there's people in this class that are smarter than me. I'm not going to tell you who you are. You can figure it out on your own. But that's cool. When I was younger, I was intimidated by that. But I learned a long time ago that that's all right. But what happens is that I learned a long time ago that all I had to do was let the good students go. Give them the information, put them to work, let them show what they can do, and let them set the bar for the grades. And so for 30 years, I take the best students in the class and I set their grades as 95 and 100%. And what that's always done is it's allowed me to be free in the classroom. And by that, what I mean is, if I forget to cover something and I put it on the exam, everybody misses it, it's okay, because it automatically curves itself. Because if nobody got it right, then it automatically gets thrown out. And I don't have to worry about the disparity in the class, because it's very fair to compare you to each other. If you want to work your rear end off and get a great grade, and somebody else doesn't bother to show up and sleeps through the class and just tries to pass it, that's not my problem, really. It's their problem, and it'll come back to haunt them later. And finance is an interesting class because a lot of people don't know what it is. Particularly at the undergraduate level, there's students that will save it for the last 1 or 2 semesters because they're afraid. They heard that this is a class with accounting and math, two of the most worst things in the world. But that's not true. It's actually, so many students over the years have come up to me and said, you know what, if I had known this is what finance was, I would have taken it a lot sooner, or I would have majored in it. And in fact, I had a lot of students over the years that did change their majors, which was cool. And there are students that have graduated from Northern and gone on and had great success. And that makes all of us proud when that happens. So that being said, it's a long way around of saying that you set your own bar. And this class, the average grade, I can tell you right now, the average grade for at the end of the class is probably going to be in the low 90s, which means most of you are going to get an A or an A minus or B plus or B. I mean, you really got to separate yourself out of the pack to get a D or an F. Because open book, open note, do the work, show up, make it, write the report, make it something you're proud of, and we all win. And I think that's a good way for education to go.